What is going on, guys? My name is Tefty Teft. Welcome to Dank Talk number 4. I got the usual crew, BlueWestlo.
Woo! Dank as fuck!
Oh my god. And versus the stream. God damn. The excitement levels over 9,000 now. Wow. You guys are excited for something. Can you tell me what?
It's episode 4, duh. I'm excited for Ab to carry me in comp in a couple hours.
Oh, that's amazing. Duh. That's what you guys are focusing on, right?
Duh. Yeah, I've just bought Overwatch, unfortunately, because I've been wanting to kill myself because my comp SR hurts deeply.
So, okay, for those that don't know, can you explain comp and the comp SR and all that stuff? And like, well, it's season 2 right now, right? Or is it season 3?
You're in season 3.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
See, yeah, I'm on the fringe right now. So maybe hook me up with a little comp information, so our listeners who don't play comp understand the overall experience.
So if you ever played regular Overwatch, obviously you have attack and defense rounds. You also have control point rounds, or it's like best of like 2 out of 3 in regular games, and all the normal game modes. In comp, you are essentially in a ranked system where you also get comp points that you can spend toward golden weapons. Now, for the average comp player is mostly just playing because they want to get those golden weapons. And it takes a very long time to accumulate these comp points to get the golden weapons. Obviously, there are a lot of competitive people who want to rank up into these competitive rankings to really show how good they are and obviously be competitive players. So there's bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, master, and grandmaster ranks, I believe, right? That's all of them. And it goes by...
You also have the top 500, which is like its own rank.
Okay, so yeah.
Oh, that's not grandmaster?
Top 500.
It's after, it's like in grandmaster. It's like a sub rank in grandmaster.
Like
technically
the
not
top 2,000 or something like that?
But obviously top... Well, it's a sub rank because if you get top 500, then you get special.
It also shows it too.
Exclusive rewards.
It shows the grandmaster ranking, but it also shows like a number above it to show where are you in the top 500.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So grandmaster, and then after that, you get a grandmaster and a number on top of that.
Yeah.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any?
So you're essentially playing in a ranked game mode of Overwatch, and it's people take it very, very seriously. What I go through is, which I have been going through for the past 2 seasons, is trying to get out of quote unquote Elo hell, which is gold and platinum rank. Because everybody wants to get to diamond. That's like everyone's main goal when seasons start, is trying to get out of plat and into diamond.
Okay.
Because of how the new ranking system is, which is a whole different thing that we don't need to go into. But I'm trying to get into diamond, but I can't. And Ab has gotten into diamond. I think he's gotten into diamond. I think he got into diamond last season too.
No,
right?
This is the first one.
He didn't? Damn.
First
Yeah,
one.
and then
much last season.
Yeah.
And I'm struggling with this part where I got into diamond in first season, where rank 60 was the equivalent of diamond, and I've not been able to get back into diamond for the past 2 comp seasons.
Now, is that because the player population has gotten better?
It's the meta. It's all meta.
Yeah, it's because in season 1, I mained Genji, and Genji was meta, so it wasn't very hard to get.
Gotcha.
To 60.
Yeah, meta's changed a lot. It's arguably, people like to say this is the worst meta, which is you can argue that. I never really thought too much into it.
You want to give a quick breakdown of what the meta is right now?
Right now the meta is for usually you'll see the majority of teams run 3 tanks, 2 healers, and an attack. So usually you'll see like a Zarya, Reinhardt, Diva, or you can switch one of those out with a Roadhog. And you'll see Ana as like a main healer, and usually for a secondary, you want a Zenyatta. To me, Ana and Zenyatta is like goals, and then for your attack, usually you'll have a soldier because soldier's just really good right now. That's pretty much the meta right now because of the tank meta. Everyone's calling it the tank meta. It's created a lot of issues, and a big issue when it comes to solo queuing, like Blue's doing now, is that people don't want to switch characters when things aren't going well. So they're like, "Hey, I'm doing Genji. We're losing, but you guys got to switch, not me." So
it's like, I've got 5 elims, bro, and I'm gold, and it's like nobody's doing good if you have 5 gold elims. Switch.
It's funny how
that's technically true.
It's funny how back when the game first came out, I remember it was like Genji was overpowered, and when Ana was released, it was like, oh, why are you even considering running Ana? It was like,
Yeah,
Switch,
people didn't believe in
Switch,
Ana back
Jesus.
then.
Yeah.
As the meta changes, that's just how it is in every video game. Some
Yeah.
characters become stronger than others. Ana was always a really strong solo healer, but obviously because of how much quicker things generally tended to die in the first season, just because Ana could heal stuff really quickly over time doesn't mean like, oh, well, we need Lucio to keep all of us healed really quickly.
Mhm.
Oh, we need Mercy because her res is like, that's a total reset. We can just keep doing damage. And then obviously this season, you need one healer that is just going to really quickly heal the whole, like the tanky people,
Mhm.
which is obviously the Reinhardts and the Divas, the Roadhogs. And Ana is just a good Ana. When you get into like really high ranks, is able to solo heal an entire team by herself.
Really?
If she's good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, if
So
you're good
that's
Ana,
why-
you should be able to just constantly. You want to play. People can play attack Ana, and of course, I'm gonna bounce off Ana and Ana. They like to play attack and defense. But what you really want for Ana is a defense. When you want someone who's constantly paying attention to everyone and healing.
Yeah.
And then as you get better and better, you start to balance your attack Ana and of course defense Ana.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. How
But, yeah.
so? Does the meta only change per season? Because it seems like it would cause some.
No,
Oh no, they change it during
it's
season.
just-
Also,
I
It's
don't
just
think
the-
they change. I don't think they change it every season. It's just every now and then they switch things up and they go into the PTR server and they try new things. And it's usually like around this time, like in the middle of the season, usually.
do they do it mid?
Yeah.
They do it mid season. Wow, that's it.
Well, they don't do it mid-season. It's up to how the
PTR.
players choose. I think that's the best part about Overwatch is the developer doesn't dictate the meta, right? They try to balance it, but it's up to the actual player base on how they find what I guess the quote-unquote optimal way to play is.
Mm-hmm.
So when everybody chooses to start playing 4 tanks because they find it being effective, if you don't play a certain way against 4 tanks, which the best counter to someone playing 4 tanks, 1 DPS, 1 healer is, surprise, surprise, to play 4 tanks, 1
yeah.
DPS, 1 healer better than they can.
Yeah.
So the developer just makes balance updates depending on what is over centralizing and crap. So like obviously first season Genji was like picked like in 90% of comp teams out of every comp game ever played. So they're like, okay, there's probably something wrong with Genji.
Yeah.
Just as you go, the developer changes the balance, but it'll take the actual player base weeks to find out what the
it
meta
is, right, yeah.
that they think is the best works.
Mhm.
Yeah. With this current change in the PTR, I honestly don't expect the meta to change because they pretty much what they changed. The big changes were they swapped Diva's health and armor because her armor was insane. For those that don't know, in Overwatch, when you lose armor, your armor regenerates, unlike your health.
Mhm.
So she was constantly just gross. And they're changing Roadhog's hook. A lot of people are having issues with Roadhog's hook in PTR because of the way they just completely changed how it works.
Yeah, I heard about that. It's like
So you can like
completely
hook
different.
someone at a ledge, do a 180 and drop them at the ledge,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty crazy. But then again, it's PTR, so this is when they actually do stuff like this and they change it before it ever goes to the public, which is cool.
Right. They test
And
it
like
out.
Blue said, we really like how the people dictate how it goes. So they have the PTR server, you play it, and they will not finalize any of this until the majority of the community is like, yeah, this is good, this works,
Man,
this works.
that is a excellent way to apply some balance patching.
Yeah, and I think the coolest part about Overwatch is the developers. I don't think there's been one patch I've really disagreed with. I had like a knee-jerk reaction to the Genji one because I love Genji. I'm a fucking weeb. But at the end of the day, Genji is still a great character depending on the team comp. And that's kind of the whole point of Overwatch is every character can be very strong depending on a team comp you go with, except for
Right.
Sombra. Sombra's fucking trash. Don't play Sombra.
I have the thing is we didn't win a match with Sombra and we're in Diamond with this, but it's very situational. To win a game with Sombra, for those that don't know, Sombra is not a top pick right now because she's just underpowered in different ways. And the situational way to use her, which we actually won a comp match with, was if they have a Reinhardt, you want to like a Sombra. If someone's good with Sombra, of course, use Sombra. And what we did was we comboed Zarya's ult, Diva's ult, and Sombra's ult. And usually when you do an ult with Diva or Reinhardt put a shield up, but because Sombra jumped in the middle of them and
Excellent.
Zenyatta, she did her ult, and now Zenyatta can ult Reinhardt can ult, so the D.Va ult was just magic, and
Hmm.
it got a 4 to 5 kills.
It's very
Sombra's
situational.
really situational, so that's the
Yeah.
reason why no one uses her. She's very, very situational, and you want a character that can counter things. You don't want
of
just
course.
someone to counter one situation. So she's really.
Do you think
not
she's
a
going to
top
get buffed then in the future?
They're buffing her like a tiny bit with this new one, just a
Yeah.
tiny bit.
I think one of the big suggestions for Sombra is because she's classified as an offensive character. And the offensive character list has shit like Genji and Tracer and Soldier and Reaper, who are all really, really strong characters at getting behind enemy lines and just fucking shit up
Mhm.
or just doing
Flanking
a lot
them
of
up.
damage. And the unique thing about Sombra is she's not really a damage dealer. She's someone who is good at offensively disrupting things.
Okay.
So one of the big things that people suggest for Sombra is that when she hacks somebody, that character takes an additional like 50% damage.
Oh, wow.
So
You
I think
that would be a little
that
overpowered?
I think it would be a little overpowered. I think it should be something like 25% or something.
Yeah, 50%
But-
damage debuff is like, ooh.
But I do agree that Sombra does need a little bit extra help because she can be good. I think in certain hands she can be really crazy. Obviously in this tank meta, a good Sombra can mess things up.
Mhm.
But it's also it comes down to situational picks because if you have a Sombra on your team, you need to work around playing that Sombra. It's not like you have a Reinhardt on the team. Okay, Reinhardt fits on every team. D.Va fits on every team. Soldier fits on every team. With Sombra, it's like, okay, you gotta have a specific. You definitely gotta have a Zarya. You definitely gotta have a D.Va, maybe distracting them from the Sombra, stuff like that.
It's interesting. How do you guys I'm going to switch this or pivot it a little bit over to the future of Destiny competitive, or Destiny 2, I should say, not the current Destiny.
Destiny 2.
What do you think? Now that you guys have played a lot of competitive Overwatch, what would you like to see come over to Destiny 2 competitive in the future? Let's say we don't know anything about it, obviously, and we're just speculating that it's coming because there's a lot of interest in PvP for Destiny. What would you like to see in a competitive environment and ranking and all that?
One is separation, and obviously first PvE and PvP.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want PvE and PvP to be the same thing in Destiny 2. That's first because I don't want the PvP experience to hinder PvE and vice versa. But
let's say your supers though. Let's say your supers because Overwatch, ultimates, the supers, they're very diverse and they fit really well together. So they've been able to find a combo of that stuff that works really well. What do you think? How do you foresee that stuff happening?
I don't think supers really unbalanced Destiny right now, to be honest. I think supers,
honestly.
I think the supers have their place in Destiny, and it's really interesting when I'm watching like 3v3s, and not everyone can have the same subclass. So obviously you can't have 3 Stormcallers playing.
Mm-hmm.
That 3v3 action, and even 4v4, the supers aren't unbalanced. Like you have to play around your supers. You have to understand, like it's the meta. It's the meta game that really feels right. I don't think anything's wrong with supers. I just think the fundamental how PvE bleeds into PvP is going to stop Destiny from ever being like a truly 100% competitive game,
Mm-hmm.
because you find competitive players trying so hard to essentially modify the entire base of what the game is just to make a competitive experience for Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw as an argument before we got private matches was we can't remove this, we can't remove that because it would make Destiny, what Destiny is. But a lot of things are being removed. A lot of things that make quote unquote
just about everything that makes it Destiny got removed. Most exotics are removed. Like all exotic armor is removed. A lot of exotic weapons are removed. Certain roles are removed. Like a lot of people complain that, well, yeah, exactly what Ab said. If you take away this too much from Destiny, it's not Destiny. It's like, well, that's kind of every competitive game, though. Every competitive game is going to take away a lot to make it fair. Because at the end of the day, to be competitive, it has to be fair before having an identity.
Yeah, and that's an interesting way that. I don't want to bring Call of Duty into the situation. We're talking about Overwatch and Destiny. It's really interesting how Overwatch can be casual and competitive at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think hopefully Bungie just does something internally that can really find a great balance, because I think, like Blue said, supers are fine. It's just It seems right now the biggest complaints are weapons.
Yeah, weapon
So
balance.
they'd have to I think they just separate PvE and PvP and just I don't know, do something completely different for PvP and make it so you can't help your gun doesn't give you all these crazy abilities. Make everything a base stat because you have people who are just on so completely different levels. You have someone that has all these stats where their grenades are crazy, their armor is crazy, which of course in the competitive there's a certain limit to that now with armor.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't have to do that. We shouldn't have to edit our armor. Like everything should just be at a base stat to make everything on an even playing field.
I think the biggest thing for me as a first step for Destiny 2 to be truly competitive is every gun's class has to have specified perk sets. Like you should be able to run. Like if I have, it should be based on archetypes. Like an archetype of a gun, like a high rate of fire scout rifle, should have universal perk sets, universal potential for rolls on every one of those archetypes of scout rifles. There should not be one scout rifle. Though. Well, for PvP, and I don't think it would really make that big of a difference in PvE.
Yeah.
Like with Matador 64, it comes with rolls that no other shotgun can specifically come with, and that's the reason why it's so centralizing. I think when you come to those high impact shotguns, every one of the high impact shotguns should have the same pool of perks to get to pull from. So then it's suddenly not everyone's going for that specific Matador. Suddenly, okay, there's 4 shotguns in this class. I can get any of those 4 shotguns and try to get a roll for it. I think that's a good start.
Doesn't that water down the loot system though?
I think it waters down the loot system, but how much does it really affect PvE when nobody really likes an overly centralized? I think that's even in Borderlands. When I played Borderlands 1 a long time ago, it's like it's really not that big of a deal when there's not really a meta in PvE.
Well,
obviously, when you're raiding,
why I think they need to split it apart completely for PvE to PvP. And I know it's really fun to get a weapon out in PvE and then come bring it into the Crucible, but at the same time, it's imbalanced. And if we want a really fun PvE experience, because Ab and I, we've been playing a lot of Borderlands this week, and the guns are crazy, and we want crazy guns in Destiny. Honestly, I want I don't want
100%.
like
Mythoclast, old Mythoclast. I've never had more fun with a gun than old Mythoclast when it came out.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun in PvE because it deserved to be crazy gun in PvE because you beat the fucking hard mode raid boss. Like,
yeah, it destroyed in PvE when it first came out, and it was awesome. It was so fun to get a weapon like that. Same thing with Gallahorn. Gallahorn was awesome because it was actually somewhat overpowered, and they had to nerf it eventually because of it being so overpowered. And they need more of that stuff in PvE and not be afraid to let it be like ridiculously awesome, because those are the things that you seek and you go after and spend lots of hours to play. Like in Borderlands 2, you want to get a Norfleet. Well, it takes a long time to get a Norfleet, but it's an amazingly overpowered rocket launcher. So they need to split that stuff away from PvP because there's just no balancing it. You're never going to be able to balance a Norfleet in PvP.
I think the perfect answer, if they want, obviously if they want to pursue competitive Destiny, I don't think there's any other option. Is it the PvE and PvP have to be separated?
Yeah,
they have
if
to.
If they truly want competitive Destiny, they have to.
%.
But if they want something that's competitive, not MLG competitive, not esport competitive, then I think they would have to really look at
that's what they have right now, though.
Well, it's not even. You can't even really consider it semi-competitive with how much like the competitive community has had to strip off almost everything that quote unquote makes Destiny Destiny.
I know, but that's basically what's happened, though. I mean, I think that is the fine line already. Like Destiny 1 is experiencing the fine line of that, and that's why I think a lot of people like us and in the community are also saying things have to be separated for PvE and PvP. And I know, like I do get behind the point of it not being as exciting than to get something in PvE and then bring it into PvP, and you can't do that. I completely understand that, but at the end of the day, I think the PvP experience is going to be a lot more fun for people jumping into it if they can like select, like you were saying, like I could imagine it being you want to build your PvP loadout, and there's these archetypes of weapons that you can select from, and they're the ideal archetypes for PvP. And there's maybe 1 or 2 variations that you can pick from. So there's like 1 or 2 perk sets for those weapons. So you build your PvP loadout, and that's what you take into. and separated from PvE. I don't know if that would work or not, but it seems like it's kind of like taking the tip off of the loadout system with Halo and putting it into not Overwatch, Destiny.
Overwatch.
Yeah. How do you
it's
guys?
hard.
Yeah. How do you guys foresee like a ranking system in Destiny?
I mean, like any other game, honestly, when it comes to if they ever have a ranked mode, like they've made Halo, they can just do something similar to Halo, honestly.
Well, okay, you guys are talking about like Overwatch's ranking system, and it obviously started very different in season 1. So there's some variation there. Well, like, how would you want to see that integrated into Destiny 2?
I don't know if there was variation. I think Overwatch just kind of changed the way they presented it to us. Initially, it was just by like a number system, like, okay, you're rank 55, 56, 57. And it was really vague. And the system really isn't that much different from season 1. It's just now it's like, okay, here's a wide array of actual league rankings. Now you're diamond, now you're gold, which is like 50 to 54 is like gold, like 60, like 55 to 60 would be considered like plat or whatever. So it's fuck. I'm saying league now. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God, league.
What is wrong with me?
Wow.
Overwatch's competitive
League watch?
system is not. Overwatch's competitive system is like not really fundamentally different than like League of Legends or CS:GO or Halo.
How would you want the rewards? What would the end of season rewards be? For
like
Destiny
what would
2?
you play for? Yeah.
I think that'd be cool. Give us animated emblems, maybe some animated shaders. Give us actual weapon skins, not ornaments.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be cool stuff. Like things like, hey, look at his emblem. He was this rank, last season or whatever they could.
That would be dope. Animated emblems would be
because
awesome.
I know Overwatch does like the animated player icons, or no sprays. They do animated sprays, which is really cool. If you get top 500, I think I'm not sure if it's Grandmaster or top 500, but I know you'd be really up there.
Yeah.
So top 500 gets you an animated spray. Rest in pepes to everyone because they're really cool. So that'd be really cool to have like an animated emblem in Destiny 2 that shows that you did really well.
That would be really cool.
Ranked mode.
Be a lot.
Of course, they'll probably make it more open to people because it's more. They want to appeal more to casual people. So I don't expect them to make it top 500.
Right.
But maybe some sort of goal system or something that.
Like there could be a participation emblem, then there could be you reached gold, and then there's a reach diamond or platinum or whatever. Yeah,
because Overwatch does that too. For you participating in comp, you get a icon. It just doesn't animate. Yeah, a spray. It just doesn't animate. So that'd be really cool. So have like a emblem, and then if you do really well, the emblem's animated. Yeah. So that's something they can take from Overwatch, like an idea they can mess with. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me would be gun skins. Very specific gun skins. Yeah, not ornaments. I want actual gun skins. I want to be able to go into my gun and say apply skin, and it's a dope fucking.
Why do you say not ornaments? Because I feel like ornaments are basically skins with more geometry.
I don't like the ornament system. I don't like the microtransaction system in Destiny right now. To be honest.
Okay. Well, yeah, I can be behind that for sure. Like obviously, I don't want to.
That's where I'm
boxes for that. Yeah.
And I don't like specific guns. Obviously, only specific guns come with ornaments.
Yeah, I want skins that hey, you reach level 50 in multiplayer, you got a skin, or you got this many kills with this gun, here's a skin.
Oh, you're talking about a shader that you can apply universally across any weapon. Is that what you're talking about? Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah.
I don't want to have it's like, cool, I can apply this dope shader to my multi-tool. I want to say, I can apply it to my favorite fucking gun, like my Cocytus, or my shotgun, my Matador. I can apply it to.
Obviously, I think you unlock it for that specific gun. You can't just unlock it for using a assault rifle, and then boom, now you can use it on a shotgun. So pretty much similar to Call of Duty in the way you get skins for that.
Okay, yeah, I'm down with that system too. I've been talking about that for a while. I think it'd be cool to adopt those type of things for people who want to play hours and hours and hours and hours of PvP, because it gives you something to look forward to. Like if I could unlock 5 different tiers of the last word skins, I would be all over that. That'd be amazing.
Why not? Yeah,
it'd be really cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Boom! I've just played the game another 500 hours for that last word skin, Bungie.
Yeah, hook me up.
At the end of the day, you're still working towards something. My constant question is, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? The for fun is no longer in the sentence because the game isn't fun.
Oh, I still think the game's fun.
It's opinion.
I think the game's fun, but you get everything so quickly in Destiny now.
Mhm.
And
You do.
Wait, which part's fun? PvP or PvE? PvE is still fun.
I think PvE is always
I
going
thought
to be fun.
I thought we were talking about PvP specifically.
PvE is fun, and
PvP
I think PvP is fun. It's just it has its issues right now, and when you play it for more than like say 2 hours, they become very obvious. You know, so I can jump in and have a few matches and have fun, no problem.
I love PvE when there's content. I think there's no other PvE like Destiny. If Destiny ever went open world, like I would never stop playing Destiny.
I want like
But
just
the PvP,
quickly
yeah.
off like subject because we were talking about Borderlands earlier. Because me and Tefty been playing a lot of Borderlands this past week. I would love Destiny 2 to give us multiple areas on a planet that we can go to, like in variety of locations. Because I like the whole open areas world, whatever you want to call it. I want that.
Borderlands 2 gets in-game content incredibly well. Like PvE in-game content is done incredibly well in Borderlands 2. It's surprising. I hadn't played Borderlands in a couple years pretty easily. And coming back, I know the hunt has been going on, and Ab, you've been participating in the hunt. I've actually been personally doing a one life challenge because I played a lot of Borderlands back in the day. And it led into the looter shooter addiction that Destiny has and all that. And it's funny coming back to Borderlands and getting all this loot and having this experience with these legendaries, and then suddenly realizing what is wrong with Destiny's loot system and how unrewarding it can be. Honestly,
it's crazy. Like it's something good about sitting there for an hour farming the same enemy in Borderlands and getting that weapon. It just feels really good. They all feel unique, and the fact that there's so many different variations of that really rare legendary is also really cool. So you can get an Unkempt Herald, and I can get one, and they can be completely different type of versions of it. Yeah, which is really cool. And I also I saw a tweet from MTash. He's been playing Diablo, and he's talking about how he wants a system similar like in next Destiny where you can get quote unquote exotics early in the game. You don't have to wait till max level. Yeah, exactly. So I like that. I like how Borderlands you don't wait till hit level 50 to start getting these really crazy weapons. You can be level 13 and get a really good weapon that lasts you another hour or two.
I think that's one of the biggest things that Division got right, that Destiny still hasn't gotten right, is early on Division had the exact same issue that Destiny had, where it just felt really unrewarding, and you could do a lot of things for such a long time, it would just never feel rewarding. And obviously we've all played Division, or Ab, have you played Division?
I played a little bit of the beta, but I haven't played like the latest.
Yeah, a lot. But I think me and Tefty can agree that coming back to Division, you get showered in awesome loot.
They fixed
it. It's not in the exact same variety as Borderlands, but you could work really hard for a FAMAS that is specific to your build. It's the Diablo style where you can get a lot of cool weapons, a lot of that type of weapon that you want, but does that weapon fit to the build that you are personally going for?
So this is a big debate for a lot of people, because some people want their last word and their thorn and their, the Might of Multi-Tool to be carbon copies, not change at all if they drop. And the more I play Destiny and the more I play, say, Borderlands, Diablo and all that, I think really good endgame does involve minutia of rolls for those high-end gear. So if you could get a last word with, say, like 100+ different rolls on it, I think that enhances the endgame considerably, because there's a lot more things to go after. And also the infusement system kind of broke that as well. We need we need to be able to get these exotics and legendaries at low levels, and then keep on getting them again. It's just so you want to get to max level and then start collecting the best roll of your favorite exotic and so on and so forth.
I think that's another really big thing the Division got right, is with the gear sets. Gear sets are like the essential version of exotics in Destiny, in that all the gear sets have one thing that really tie them together, in that if you have a certain amount of them on your gear or on your person equipped, then you get a certain specific bonus. And I feel like that can be kind of applied to Destiny, is all the exotics have one very special perk, but there's obviously the minutia of details between each one that changes how they, it's unique to you.
Yeah.
It's not just every exotic is the same. It could be every exotic is kind of the same, but there's all these different factors that also make it your exotic, and
Well,
not
yeah.
just an exotic.
And also for armor right now in Destiny, there is that. It's the intellect, strength, discipline system. But let's be honest, you can practically ignore that stuff, and it's not going to affect your gameplay that much.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not at all in PvE. Hardly.
Yeah, it's hardly going to affect in PvE. So they need to make it so there is things that actually affect your gameplay that would make you want to go after those particular roles. But again, this is a hot debate. A lot of people think that exotics need to stay locked, and that is the version. Like lore wise, this is the reason that exotic is.
Do they say why? Is it because of lore?
Well, it's just it's because it's it's part of Destiny. It's part of the lore. It's part of like this is the reason that gun or piece of armor is the way it is. But for me personally, I think the end game is significantly more exciting and interesting when you have lots of different variations. I mean, look how long people farmed for the Grasp of Malak because there was a window. There was like a small window in Destiny where you could farm for one particular rare legendary and try to get the god roll. And
exactly, that's the closest we ever got.
Yeah, people farmed for hours,
and it was dope.
Yeah, it was exciting.
And we need that for exotics, and like people say, I think the whole lore thing is a really bad reason to keep them all the same. I don't like that at all. Like,
yeah,
that's like I think there needs to be a good balance of like lore and just be a fun video game. Like
100%. Everyone's so tied to the lore. When you go look at Overwatch, there's a fuck ton of lore behind Overwatch. But when you actually play the game, like who gives a shit
about it? Yeah, you're not shooting enemies and thinking about the
why are Widowmaker and
Tracer
Tracer playing together?
From. Like there has to be a balance.
Reaper and Soldier would never play together.
It's just that's a really bad argument. I wouldn't be able to take anyone serious if they brought up the lore argument.
Well, I mean, I'm open to as many opinions as possible because I want to have like a fair perspective on it, But right now,
video game first before reading a website's lore.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, we all like the lore is coming so heavily because there isn't that real carrot anymore in Destiny. They need to make sure those carrots exist via the variations in the loot, and that's why playing Borderlands 2 again, it really highlights that effect that like you can go and get that legendary, and it could be you can go to a specific place and farm for it, or you can try to possibly get a world drop that is extremely rare. But it's really interesting to be like, okay, I need to go here. I need to spend some time farming this enemy and try to get the perfect roll. That's an interesting concept. Like if it was in Destiny 2 where you have these open worlds and you go to a patrol, and let's say they had events where certain enemies would spawn during certain times of the week. So you'd be like, all right, it's Saturday and there's going to be this boss that spawns, in the Cosmodrome and these locations. Go and it drops this or like really three different types of legendaries that it could possibly drop. Wouldn't that be amazing?
That'd be cool. And I actually thought about that while playing Borderlands 2. I was like, there's a lot of Borderlands, the Gearbox learned from Bungie and Bungie learned from Gearbox. And I hope that Gearbox takes the online systems and they learn from Destiny and what they can put in Borderlands 3. And I hope Destiny learns from Borderlands and about the loot. Yeah. And I think that'd be really cool because what I think Destiny 2 needs to have for PvP, I think Destiny 2 needs to always be patrol in the sense where you're always like, it's not just you don't just launch it to a strike, you launch it to the world and you make your way towards that area where the quote unquote strike would be, and you go to a boss. Just that's like how you fight through like an area, then get to the boss.
That's why I was so excited for Dreadnought is when they talked about the reveal, they made it sound like, when you load into the Dreadnought, you have everything access to you when you go into patrol. When you go to that area of the strike, you can start that strike. But obviously that wasn't the way they worded it was weird. But at the end of the day, it was still, if you can't just start the strike by walking to the area. Yeah. And that's what I really, really want in Destiny 2 is having a patrol. You walk into, when we're still exploring, obviously, hopefully it's open world. But if it is open world, we're exploring and we suddenly come across this badass cave. It's like, oh shit. You walk into it. You can opt into the strike. It's like, oh fuck, it's a strike. Let's go. Like
that would be amazing.
But what's even cooler would be if you walk into a wrong strike. I want that experience where I walk into a cave and everything one shots me. Everything just kills me by looking at me.
Absolutely.
So it's like, yo, I want to grind. I want to come back here, see what's in here. Like I want like enemies that are like random, like how Tefty said. You can do it through events. You can do it without events, maybe a mixture of both. Where there's specific enemies in the world where they drop specific things. You want to constantly load back in and farm them.
Yeah, you want.
I think that's the PvE experience I want.
Yeah, it's so good. It's like it's funny how much I forgot about it, and then getting to play Borderlands 2 again and being like, God, this loot system is
So good.
oh, it's incredibly rewarding. And when Farm to Goal was a thing in Destiny, people were like, God, I can't believe how many hours people are spending Farm to Goal. But it was entertaining because it was
you're
like
working towards something. Like you're
Yeah.
getting something when you work toward it.
yeah,
That excitement. If you see something drop and you see the color of what you see, like in Destiny, you see like a purple. You're like, oh, that's it. Nope, that's a Warlock Bond. In Borderlands, it's like, oh, that's an orange. Oh, it's the wrong orange.
Yeah.
It's the wrong legendary. So it's like that excitement level that you think you get really excited, then let down, but you get really excited and it's fulfilled.
yeah.
Oh,
Now they do have that right now, I will say, and I want to highlight and underscore this that does exist in a very limited way in Destiny right now, because you can go use a skeleton key and possibly get an Imago loop, but it's a horrible way of doing it.
Or get that stupid Titan mark that nobody wants.
You get a dumb
Hey,
Titan
stop
mark.
giving me it.
how would you like that seaweed on your hip?
Yeah, here you go. Here's the Titan Seaweed. Also, you spent like 10 minutes or more in that strike because it's a pain in the ass to go through to go kill the Undying Mind or whatever the hell. And then you get you might get an Imago loop. That is just the wrong way of going about it. They need these things accessible, and they also need to utilize the patrols. Imagine how active the patrols would be if at certain times certain enemies spawned that had loot drops. Like if there was a world boss that had a Matador 64 high chance of dropping.
Mm-hmm.
People would farm the crap out of it.
Destiny 2 needs 24/7 patrol. Don't make it so I have to fly into a strike. Make it so the strike is always open. And if I'm walking and I see two dudes chilling outside of that area and they want to team up with me and they invite me, I can just, now I'm joining with them. We go into the strike. We just walk into that area and it loads.
Mm-hmm.
I want that experience. I want to be able to just walk wherever I want and I end up to the places I want to end up to. You know, of course,
That's
you can
kind
do
of
the
like
fast
the
travel
Division.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fast travel, obviously.
if it's like that, like it obviously works if multiple games are doing it, right? And it works. People are enjoying it.
Yeah,
So I
in
mean, bring
Division,
fast travel into different areas.
In the Division, you like walk up to the mission, and then like once you go through it, it starts. Yeah, it's really clever. It's just in its Division sense. Yeah, if they did that in Destiny, that'd be amazing. Because I'd love to skip some of this like last gen, have to transport yourself to the actual mission type of stuff that feels very last gen-y right now. And we want the current gen open world type of
We feel
adventure.
it, Mr. Krabs.
That's what we want. It's going to be amazing if they're able to successfully hit that, because it's the loot. It's exciting.
Like me playing Borderlands 2 has me excited for Destiny 2 in hopes that they take some notes from it. Like
Me too.
copy them. I don't care. Make your own version of it. I don't care. But like it's exciting to see that, to be reminded that this existed and Division's doing something similar. And hopefully Bungie's like, yo, that works. Let's do it. That's what I'm hoping for.
To see a lot of games get it so right, and I think a lot of it is the fact that Destiny's a last gen game. But if they get it wrong, it's like, man, there's like so much. There's so much already established that just gets it right. It's like you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Well,
I just hope that, I hope they don't try to reinvent the wheel, and I hope they see how good what they could have.
Oh my god! Right?
I still think Destiny could be like one of the biggest games ever if they just played to the strengths that they have. Which the biggest strength, obviously, for Destiny is PvE, and Bungie knows it.
Yeah, they have to. Like that's where their biggest interest level gets hit. Yeah. So, speaking of also loot, and since we're on this journey right now talking about it, what about Borderlands 3? And if they were to adopt a lot of things from Destiny and bring it into, like, let's say it's an online experience, you have to be online, and let's say loot drops include armor as well. And let's say it's also let's say it takes the Division aspect of things, so it is very open worldy like that. And you could see other players farming stuff and maybe even have like a survival experience, but not PvP, because PvP in Borderlands would be awful, but PvE survival, where if like it's a world drop, anybody could grab it. And let's say there's 8 players on the server.
They fight for it.
Do you think
everyone just melees each other and just agrees to like a legit duel?
I mean, you'd have to be able to pick your instance. Obviously, you can't have it like always where there's 8 players on the server, because that would get annoying at times. But what do you think about the future of Borderlands 3?
I think the future is exciting. They obviously already got the loot system right. All they have to do is incorporate the new next generation of online gaming, right? Like,
well, they screwed it up in the pre-sequel. So the pre-sequel came after.
Well, the
and it wasn't-
pre-sequel was made by
Right.
completely different people, though. It was the
It was
Australian
Gearbox
part
Australia,
of yeah. And now they're actually down. Like that studio is now officially down because pre-sequels failed supposedly.
Mhm.
But I have hopes for it because if you go from the story, the end of Borderlands 2, spoiler alert, this shows that there are planets now that have there's these planets with vaults, and they make it seem like, hey, we're gonna go over there, we're gonna go find these vaults. So
Well-
that makes me exciting, and maybe each planet will work as its own server, similar to how Destiny, each planet has players on each one, kind of thing.
Well, supposedly the leak is that the next planet's going to be Promethea, and I think that's the home world of the Iridium and all that stuff, or the Vault technology or whatever. So I think that's where Borderlands 3 is being set, is Promethea, not Pandora.
This would be really cool.
Yeah.
So like, if they can incorporate online, similar, learn from Destiny into your own thing, I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be really cool.
Yeah, it would. Would be amazing. All right, guys. Thank you very much for listening to Dank Talk number 4. My name is Tefty Teft. You can talk to me at Teft on twitter.com/Teft and catch the streams I do at twitch.tv/Tefty Teft, where I'm playing an assortment of video games.
And I am VersusTheStream. You guys can catch me live at twitch.tv/VersusTheStream. You can talk to me anytime you want and follow me on twitter.com/VersusTheStream. And you can check out some of the videos on youtube.com/VersusTheInternet, where you'll see a lot of assortment of games as well, because the word assortment sounds pretty cool.
Assortment, yes.
And my name is BlueWestlo. You can finally catch me primarily on youtube.com/BlueWestlo. Talk to me on Twitter at BlueWestlo and on Twitch, twitch.tv/BlueWestlo.
Amazing.
And coach out.
See you next week, guys.